didn't work for Kaleb Brown. How difficult is it, or what does it take to get on the field at Iowa wide receiver, and why didn't it work for Kaleb?
Well, I don't want to talk about players that aren't here. I can talk about Jacob Gilp, the guy who got here in June, like you said, and he's come in and worked hard. He just works hard, and he was not a household name at his last school. He's tremendously attentive, very detailed in his work, his preparation, and he practices every day and practices hard. So I mean, there's a lot of value in that. That's true at every position. Just being reliable, dependable, so the quarterback can really count on you to be there. And I'd flash back to a couple weeks ago, that Minnesota game, the one touchdown to the left that Kaleb broke out. Gill's in there blocking, knocks over two guys. So a little dirty stuff like that, or the dirty work that maybe some players don't want to do. He's willing to do it. He's done a really nice job. And then, Reese is a different discussion because he's a kid who just got out of high school basically 4 months ago. And unfortunately for him, he had some injury issues in the summer. So, he's limited on what he could do. But once we got going in camp, same thing, just very attentive, very detailed, works hard. You've seen him compete for the ball out there. And I think he's got tremendous upside. He's got a great attitude. And I'm not saying somebody else didn't. I'm just talking about those two individuals that are really focused on the details. And, if you're a receiver, and Brandon can tell you as a tight end, too, quarterbacks like to know what you're going to do and when you're going to do it, those types of things. And, both these guys, the guys that are playing most of the reps right now have been really good in that regard.
John Steffi, Cedar Rapids Gazette, kind of along those lines, the two departures, kind of how did those situations unfold, and what are your thoughts in general on guys transferring at this point in the year when you still have most of the season still left to play?
I think that's just a reflection on the times. It's certainly not unique to us right now. And, it's kind of like Jim Ryan when he broke the barrier on the mile. All of a sudden, within a year, there were a bunch of guys that broke that barrier. So, once one person jumps in the water, then it's easier for somebody else to do it maybe. And I'm not saying that's the case here. I don't know how long players have been thinking about it. It really wasn't part of the discussion. But, I applaud both guys because, what you don't want is somebody in the program that really doesn't have both feet in the circle and totally committed to the team doing well because, at this level, it takes everybody. It takes everybody in the team. So I applaud them, wish them the best, and appreciate what they have done. In Leshon's case, he's a little different because he really hasn't been healthy since April, and I know he's very frustrated about that. And then he's seen some other guys do a good job, so he wants to get healthy, and then just use his COVID year. I wish him the best. We'll do all we can to help him. So every circumstance is a bit different, but I think we're going to see more and more of that as we move forward, probably in all sports.
Tyler Tashman with the Des Moines Register. I asked this out of genuine understanding. I don't want it to sound condescending at all, but you've made changes, at Iowa State, Cohen in for Xavier. Deshaun is now starting over at TJ. What is it about like the quarterback position that maybe just makes you a little bit more reluctant to at least experiment, even going back to last season?
Yeah, I mean, really, it's pretty much the same. I mean, every position and that we have out there in the football field, we assess it daily and then weekly, and then you learn more as the season goes on and the game goes on. But ultimately, it's about putting players on the field in situations where you think it gives you your best chance to win at that given point. So when those times come where you're going to make a change or sub somebody out, you do it. And again, we discuss that pretty much on a daily basis. I guess the only day we don't meet as a staff would be Saturdays. We do it on Friday afternoons, the night game, and then we do it Saturday morning. But we're talking constantly about the update of our team, where we're at, what do we need to be thinking about. So we just take it a day at a time, try to give ourselves the best chance to be successful.
Elliot.
Hey, Kirk. Elliot Clough, Hawkeye Beacon. With the two in-season decisions to move on, I know you've been around the game for a long time, right? College level. And then you've seen a lot of changes too. Is this frustrating? Is it? I guess I'm curious as to your thoughts on the situation generally.
Yeah. I mean, the first thing I'd start with, and I think I used this line before a while ago. You can't lose what you didn't have. So, if somebody really hasn't been playing, it's like you're losing a lot of contribution. If that makes any sense. And I don't know what the stats are on either player we're talking about this season. if Leshon had left last November, that would have been impactful because he was right in the thick of it, and he was our best option at that point, and was playing very well too. I just want to compliment him. But it's really not the case now, and I just talked about the injuries that's affected him greatly really since April. And I feel bad. I feel bad anytime a player can't do what they want to do that way. But the bottom line is this, not to be callous, but if a player's really not playing, it's not like you lose anything that way. And then the other part, I fall back on the line from Mike Tomlin about you don't want hostages on your team. Again, it doesn't do anybody good, especially the individuals, to be in an environment where they're not enthused to be there. It's just not good for anybody. So, just wish the guys well, and hope they find happiness wherever they do go. I really mean that. And then, because I want all of our guys to be successful. And right now our focus is on the guys we're coaching every day, and trying to give them their best chance to be successful moving forward here.
David Eichel, HawkeyeInsider.com. Kirk, we know that Cade's gone through a lot of injuries and adversity throughout his career, but just from a production standpoint, the last touchdown he's thrown against a power conference team was against Iowa back in 2021. I guess, what do you see with him throughout the week?
He was hurt for 2 of those years. I think so. That's my part of the way. But
no, absolutely.
Okay.
But what do you see just from him day by day, and what we don't see that gives you confidence that he can go out there and produce for you guys?
Yeah, I guess a couple of things. We see him every day, so we do, and we assess all the quarterbacks, as you might imagine, like we do at every position. And then, the things that were obvious that didn't go well Saturday, my sister probably could tell you, turning the ball over, and then certainly the pick. That was just a bad mental play on his part. That was the most disappointing play in my mind. He'd love to have it back too, but sometimes you don't get that choice. You have to factor in the level of competition. You have to factor in, I think, the way the game is going at that given point. There's a lot of things that influence, I think, how you assess things. But he's done a lot of good things too, and I would venture to say he played a pretty good half in the first half. He was really efficient, and made that comment, I think, after the Minnesota game, that I thought he seemed more comfortable, more decisive in his play. Keep in mind, too, we've got a new offense, so there's a lot of new things going on. There's a multitude of things that we're all looking at. And the most important thing, I don't think his confidence has been shaken. And that's, you worry about that coming out of a game like that Saturday, where you play a really good opponent and things start going south on you.
John.
With the turnovers, you mentioned the interception, with the 2 fumbles, kind of what did you see there, kind of what went wrong there?
Yeah, the one was, the pocket got really cloudy and crowded. They get penetration on the right side, inside guy. But all that being said, that's part of playing quarterback. When things do get a little sticky in there, you got to really protect the ball. It's sometimes easier said than done, but that's something you just have to do, and he knows that. And then the last one looked to me like the ball just came out. When I was watching the replay up on the board, and arm was coming forward, but it looked like his grip on the ball. So it's going to happen too. But again, I go back to what I just said a minute ago. When you get in those circumstances and it's coming downhill on you, sometimes things go that way, and it's no fun. As a former line coach, I've been through that a few times, and it's just a bad feeling, and you got to move on.
Chad ways to go again. 2-parter about the secondary. Washington comes in averaging 300 yards a game passing, so they lost a ton, but obviously they're still throwing a lot.
Yep.
Your thoughts on that, and also related,
Yep.
I don't know if I get the mic back, but Jalen Watson made the trip, got in the game, true freshman, I think. I don't think he traveled to Minnesota, correct? What have you seen from him to elevate him to that level?
Yeah, he's shown up in practice, and it was more so on special teams, but he got in there a little bit. And excuse me, he had a leg injury earlier in camp. It's trying to his progress, but he's a hard-working guy. He's got a good spirit to him, and it's really kind of, I think, first surfaced in the special teams drills, which is, as you know, defensively especially, we see a lot of traits in those things where it might be worth really working with this guy and trying to develop him. And we'll see how it goes. His role may increase as we go. We'll see. Perhaps on special teams, we'll take it week by week. But he's done a lot of good things. He's got a good future here based on what we've seen so far.
In Washington's pass game?
Yeah, okay, their pass game. It's similar to last week, quite frankly. They've got a good receiver core. And they too, and I think one of Ohio State's secrets, not that I coach there, but as you guys saw, they make you play the run. Like they ran the ball extremely well. They've got good players, and they not one-dimensional. And I'd say the same thing about Washington, that the back is a really good player. They got a couple guys behind him that are good, but he's a really good player. And, you know, it's how you call the plays, and they're gonna, you know, you can't just sit back and play defense, you know, pass defense, you gotta honor the run with this team. Guys up front do a good job, and the quarterback's really dangerous throwing the football, so they're truly balanced.
Jack, back left.